How to invest in small apartment buildings. Are you ready to invest in an apartment building? Now is a great time to get started, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it and exactly why you should be doing it. Let's go. I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to buy small apartments the smart way. I'm going to tell you the two major options that you have and how to choose which option is best for you. And I'm going to share with you how you can get your own network of investors to help you buy small apartment buildings. Apartment buildings are all the rage right now. And there are so many people talking about why you should buy small apartment buildings, why you should get into multi-unit property investing. But the problem is there are so many people talking about it and not enough people doing it. So I'm glad that you are here and you are on the right track. I am telling you, I waited way too long in the process to start buying and getting into small apartments because there's so many benefits that I just completely missed out on. And I started investing in real estate kind of while I was still working. Started doing wholesaling, then I started doing some fixing and flipping, and then I eventually got enough rental properties where I could quit that boring job. But the problem is I had all of these single family residences, and it became quite a big deal trying to manage all of those properties, okay? I had mortgages on every single one, and then you would have taxes and insurance, and the grass has to be cut, and the lawn, and the roof, and the thing for all of these different places. But once I kind of got smart, and now in the past few years, me and my students, we are into small apartment buildings, and there are so many benefits. I literally am able to save money. The risk is much lower. The financing is a little bit easier, and there's more money in buildings, okay? When you sell them, you actually make bigger profits, and I could just go on and on and on about why this is what you want to do. But I think that you already know that. That's why you're here watching this video. So let's get to the next part. When we're talking about how to invest in small apartment buildings, the first thing that you have to do, you've already kind of started, is educate yourself. I cannot say this enough. One of the reasons why I didn't invest in small apartment buildings is because I didn't know enough about it. And the truth of the matter is that actually is a very smart thing to do. If you do not know about it and you're not going to learn about it, then you probably should not be investing in it. And the education can be very fun and make you a lot of money. It doesn't have to be all boring when you're learning about this stuff. And so go ahead and take a class if you have to. Go to an organized real estate investor association meeting. Go find groups on Meetup. You want to start educating yourself and connecting yourself to other people that are actually investing in small apartment buildings. The next thing when we're talking about investing in small apartment buildings is choosing an area. You want to choose an area that is ripe for investing, and that is going to be an area that has good economic indicators. So what are some good economic indicators? You want to first look at what the employment rates are there. You want to look at what the population growth is. Are people moving there? Are people not moving there? Do people have jobs there? What are the incomes there? Are people mostly unemployed? Is it a growing economy? Most of your major cities in the United States are probably going to fit in this category. However, if you find that you are not in one of these areas or you're very far away from a major city, then you want to really make sure that you are looking up these stats. Now, of course, New York and California, they have a lot of different caveats because they can be a lot more expensive. However, even when it comes to New York and California, you can do small apartment buildings. Let me get to the next part and tell you how, because you have two important options. You do not have to actually keep the property, have tenants in the property, or manage the property to be an investor in a small apartment building, okay? So one of the things that you can do literally that I've told you, now that you know the area, you kind of have learned your market and you've educated yourself, you don't actually need all of the money, all of the credit, or everything that you need to buy that small apartment building. You literally can start marketing and finding people that want to sell those properties, and you have two options. You can wholesale that property to another investor that actually does have the funding and the resources to keep the property. And you can make a lot of money in the process. Let me give you a quick example. So one of my students actually had turned on a lot of their marketing for people that were past due on their mortgage payments. And they were also starting to find some multi-unit properties. Well, they had come across a private seller that had a small apartment building, and they were very sick, okay? They weren't past due on the mortgage yet, but he had become very sick and his wife did not have the money to maintain the property and keep it up. And so they were wanting to sell the property. So my student was able to get that apartment building under contract for one price and then flip that contract to another investor that did have the money and the resources and the experience to manage the property. And again, this is super easy to do. And they were able to pick up a $40,000 fee, okay? So the great thing, and it's amazing, yes, you heard that right, $40,000 fee just for finding this person, getting the property under contract, and then flipping that contract to somewhere else. All they did was just increase the price by $40,000, and it was still a really good deal for that end investor. So wholesaling, if you don't know about wholesaling, you can wholesale apartment buildings. I'll actually put a link. I've made a ton of videos about wholesaling because it's a great way for new investors to get started investing in real estate. So again, you can just start marketing and finding people that have these apartment buildings that want to sell them, and you can invest in real estate just by getting those properties under contract and then selling those contracts or signing those contracts for a higher fee. That's one way. The second option that you have, again, if you don't want to wholesale it, you feel like, no, I am ready to get my apartment building and I want to keep it, is you can just find financing for it. So again, in that situation where my student found that guy that wanted to sell the 8-unit property and, they didn't necessarily have the resources yet to do it, they could wholesale that contract. But what you could do instead is find financing for it. There are tons of lenders out there that will lend on small apartment buildings based on the revenue and the cash flow of that apartment building. And so this is not difficult for you to find these lenders that are willing to lend you money, and then you can start making money on that property. Again, this isn't difficult to see. This isn't hard to do. These are the options that you have, and then you can just start managing that property yourself. Or you can hire a property manager that will take their money from the rent. Again, you don't have to come up with any upfront money. They will take their money from the rent and they will manage that property for you very professionally. And then last but not least, when you are looking to invest in small apartment buildings, you need to connect yourself to investors, okay? Most investors have their niche. Some investors love apartment buildings. Some love residential apartments. Some love strip malls. Some love, storage unit facilities and assisted living homes. All different types of real estate is out there. And there are so many real estate investors that have their own niche. And what you want to do is start getting connected with those people, okay? The easiest and fastest way to do that is to find your local real estate investor association, okay? You can look for these places just by doing a Google search, and you can also find many of them online on Meetup, okay? Meetup, it's one word, and it's a free place to find groups that you may be interested in. And so this is an awesome way to start getting connected. I have found so many deals at real estate investor association meetings. People bring deals all the time there. People bring their cards. There's contractors, electricians, insurance companies, title companies, you name it. You could probably find it at your local real estate investor association. If you don't have one and you don't know how to find one, please don't hesitate to email us at questions@noelrandall.com and we will help you get connected to your local RIA. I also have a company that is investing very heavily in real estate, and we actually have what's called a crowd fund, where for as little as $500, people are investing into that fund, and we are literally buying properties. We are getting apartment buildings and things like that that you may be interested in. Please check us out at TrueCrowd, that's TrueCrowd.com, TrueCrowd.com. The name of our company is NuRez, N-U-U-R-E-Z, Inc., Incorporated. And you can check us out, see what we're doing. You can actually invest in the fund or you can emulate what we are doing. But this is a great way to start investing in real estate and start making profits and live the life that you deserve. This is Noel. To your success.